I mean, there are comics that have won all kinds of money, and they're winning big prizes. I'm saying, look, man, you have big money. You're doing all these festivals. You are a fucking star. Act like a star. Think like a star. Walk, strut, dress like a star. But I mean, maybe that's old school. Maybe I'm gonna throw back to Minnesota Fats in the movie The Hustler, and they're saying, "Look at Fat Man. He ain't even sweating. He's drank as much as you have. Look at him, pretty as a baby." And there, Jackie Gleason was putting the powder on, is still dressed to the. So maybe I'm old school from that day. You know, that could be a very good possibility.
Well, you wore a suit here, and I respect that. You're the only guy ever to do so. Okay.
On the Todd Shapiro Show, SiriusXM 168.
And Kenny Robinson, man. So Kenny Robinson, legendary Kenny Robinson. Kenny, I got to ask, and I'm sure you get this all the time because this is the deal, man. You have worked and you've had some guys on your Nubian bill over at Yuck Yucks who would blow people's minds, some of these names over the years. And I'm just going to ask, who are some of those names that would shock people?
Okay, let's see. Tommy Davidson, when he was in town doing Booty Call in another movie. Mike Epps, while he was in town shooting a movie, had Mike Epps do 2 shows. Dave Chappelle's done it twice.
See that, like, Ray, I got to just stop you. Like, that to me, like, your show, Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, I couldn't pay him, so I offered him a couple of joints. And he, yeah, man, cool. So it's like, I can't pay you what you're worth, but you want some weed? So, because I mean, later on, he was doing a Half Baked then. Also, his buddy that was in the movie that was on Saturday Night Live, he also did the Nubian show. Russell Peters is the big name. He's the biggest of them all. Kevin Hart, back when he went by the name as Little Kev.
I never knew that. So Kevin Hart went with Little Kev, which makes sense.
Then he got management, and they said, "What kind of name is that? Use your real name. You're going to be big." So then, and he got big, and he's no longer Little Kev.
Was he always a nice guy?
Oh, incredible! In fact, he's one of those little guys that if somebody insults you, he's jumping up on the table saying, "No, you don't talk to my friend like that."
Love guys like
he's
that.
Like, "Get down from there, we're leaving."
What are you going to do for me? Yeah.
You know, but it's like, "No, we can fuck him up, Kenny." "No, we can't. Let's go." So, heart of a lion in the body of a chihuahua, you know, and he's doing quite well. He's one of the top money makers in Hollywood now.
85 mil last year.
Oh, I mean, how many comics could say, "Oh yeah, I work with Stallone, I work with De Niro, I work with Ice Cube"? I mean, just roll those names off. People that are legendary people. It's just like, he's doing another film with somebody else soon, you know?
When you had certain guys on your show, the Nubian show at Yuck Yucks every Sunday night, 23 years strong, and as funny as you guys just, and I see, like, anyone who goes up on stage, and even if you bomb, like the courage, the balls, or the no balls, and just the vagina lips, whatever.
Well,
it may
the
be.
Nubian show's changed. I mean, for the first 5 or 6 years, they've changed in the last few years, I think, because we have a younger, more gentle crowd. But if you weren't coming with material that was tight, or they heard it before, they would boo your ass off the stage.
So,
in fact, they booed one guy before he got to the stage. He'd been booed 3 times before. As he's coming to the stage, he hadn't put his first foot on the stage yet, and somebody yells yet, "Oh no, not this motherfucker again!" And before he even touched the mic, people were booing.
I fucking love that. Get out of here, buddy. Did you know some of them, Kenny? Did you just a guy like Kevin Hart, Chappelle? I mean, Chappelle already in movies,
yeah.
But did you know that there was something special? And like, is there a difference?
I see some special almost every comic.
Wow.
Then there's some that have broken my heart because they haven't done with their talent what they could. There is one kid, Kevin Hart, brilliant. I could sit there and watch him perform each and every time. He was physical. He was crazy. He'd pull concepts and ideas out of places I would never even think of going. And then he'd just disappear from the scene for a year. And then he'll come by. "Yeah, I was thinking on getting back into it." "Motherfucker, you should never got out of it." So it's one of these talents that if he had stuck with it and a disciplined thing, he could have been a killer, Then there's other guys like Greg Morton, who was a longtime friend of mine. I've seen him. He destroys rooms. They've carried him on his shoulders and passed him around the audience at some gigs. I never understood why he didn't become huge. Because he wasn't dirty, he wasn't foul. All the things all the reasons they could give me for not being successful, he did not carry any of that baggage. So he was another cat that I thought should have been really, really, really big. So I see something great almost every comic that I see. If even if it's just one bit, if I see one bit and they've got the courage to try and go with it. I'm saying I like the way that works. I like the way his head went on there. Now, has he got more of that stuff? Or are they going to go more in that direction? I really love the crop of the female comics have stepped forward in the past couple of years. Aisha Brown, she just finished.
We love her. Yeah, we love her.
Yeah, first time I seen her, I said, "Yep," because she's aggressive, she's intelligent, she's a voice that needs to be heard. Ife, I can't get her last name correctly. It is an African name, and I mispronounce it every time. Ife. She's I won't get it right, but anyway,
you're allowed to get away with that, though.
Well, no, because it's wrong. You don't get your name. Nobody likes to have their name mispronounced, and I butcher it. I butcher it like the Belgium did when they went into the Congo back in the day. It's terrible the way I butcher these African names. But anyway, she goes in there and she's fearless. Hodo Hersey, a young girl from. Well, she's Canadian, but I believe her background is Somalian, and she wears the headscarf and stuff. And she comes out, and there's nothing. She's saying stuff that you would not expect because you look at her and you think, oh, well, what is this going to be? And she comes throwing fastballs at you. So there's a lovely bunch of young female comics that have been coming out, and a perfect example with Aisha. I've got guys coming up to me going, can I headline? Can I headline? Can I headline? And I'm going to go, man, you coming up here talking about you eating pussy as your first joke ain't going to cut it. You better go sit your ass down and watch Aisha, see what she's throwing. I want to raise the level of our games. Of all times, raise the level of your game.
Have you had Chris Robinson on the bill?
Chris Robinson is one of my main dogs.
Yeah.
In fact, every time I get this gig where we go do some hockey fundraisers up in Sudbury, Chris and I ride together. So
he's really, he won the SiriusXM Top Comic, as you know.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, he didn't even win it for the bit I thought won it. I said, good thing I wasn't coaching you. I wouldn't have had you done that puppy thing.
Yeah.
He goes, that's the one that won it. I said, get the fuck out. I thought the Asian porn would have won it for him.
Okay.
Or I thought, so many of his other bits.
But that's fantastic. If he won with a bit, and then he's got other fucking gold. Like this guy's going places. So is he a guy you think will go places?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's good looking. He's intelligent. He's smart. Well, that's the same thing as being intelligent. He's very, very funny. He writes a lot. I see good things happening for him.
Did you ever work with Pryor?
No, I never worked with Pryor. The closest I came to working with Pryor is I worked with Paul Mooney. I worked with him for a week once when Mark Breslin brought him in for his People's Comedy Festival in the 80s. It was shortly after the LA riots. It was the 90s, I guess. So I worked with Mooney for that full week. And then 3 years ago this weekend, I worked with Paul Mooney when he came to town and did the Bloor Cinema. And there's a big difference in the two Pauls. His health has not been everything it should be. But yeah, Mooney was brilliant, and you could see how he was a big force behind Pryor's writings.
The old school comics, is there a difference between sort of the new generation and you guys? Is there a mentality?
Well, that's funny because when you say old school to me, I'm thinking Jackie Lennon. I'm thinking Jackie Mason. We go to So
I love that guy.
But the old but then I realized that Kenny, no, you're old school, and I go, oh, so now they say a lot of the old school guys are the guys that still take these shots or talk about something that matter or take chances. But now you've got these young bucks that are coming up doing the open mics and they're crying about censorship and goes, oh, I did my rape jokes and they didn't like me. What about freedom of speech? Well, freedom of speech means you get to tell your rape joke, but they also have the freedom to not laugh or them not invite you back on their stage or never book you. Mm-hmm. So freedom of speech. Try being banned and not being allowed to make money while you're trying to pursue your freedom of speech. Then come back to me, kid. So and if you're going to use the word cunt, then it should at least be a punchline and not just part of the setup.
100%. And listen, I'm no pro in judging comedy, but one of the things I do see when I see great comedy is people don't just go up there to say dirty words for the sake of it. They go up there to have it as part of routine, and you're right, and then lead back to something, have an analogy that draws everyone back in, that's more clean. There's an art form to it. Again, I was telling you, I think I told you off air or on air, I don't even remember now, but watching a ton of Carlin lately, old George Carlin, it's singing, it's da-da-da-da.
It's the rhythm.
It's the rhythm, and that's. Can you teach rhythm with young guys?
No, you can't. You can tell them that a perfectly written joke, that's if you're going to go to formula, it has 4 beats. The intro, right? That's the setup, the punchline, and then 2 tags. And if you were like Rich Jenny, then it's tag, 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 tag. And the tag sets up the next punchline, which is tag, 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 tag. So, there's even a rhythm to what he does, though. But, some of us believe in the 4-beat joke.
I like that. And then the callback at some point.
Yeah.
That's really neat. I feel like I owe you money.
Well, if I was doing a workshop, that's one of the things I would have taught in after the second hour of the workshop.
Would you ever get frustrated with guys in workshops or ladies, and you're just like, you know what, fuck, I can't. They're never like, I'm wasting my time.
No, I wouldn't get frustrated because I didn't charge them too much for it.
Okay.
Because I hate taking money from kids that don't have much money. So turns out they've got more money than I do because I see the quality of weed they're smoking. Whereas the last time I bought it, could I get a bag of shake, please? So they definitely have more money than I do. But no, I mean, they can take from it what's worth and they can leave the rest. It's just like anything your parents taught you when they were raising you. Some of it you absorb, and other of it you don't. And then later on in life, you'll fuck, I need that. So, like, perfect example, I always tell my comics when I'm doing a workshop, how you look on stage is important. Dress like you want to get laid. And I had one female comic, I beg your pardon? And I said, well, dress like I didn't say who you want to get laid by or what gender you were hoping. But the whole thing is, look like a star, be attractive. And that comes from before I even did a stand-up. I read Dick Gregory's first autobiography called Nigger. And he said that he spends so much money on his wardrobe because some people may only go out once a month. And if they think that you are their local celebrity, if they think they are the star that they know, then you owe it to them to look like a star.
I love it because it's, and I'll tell you, and I tell, Canadian comedy is awesome right now. We're in a good place right now. And being on Canada Laughs, I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of these great comedians who are going
there's
places.
Some good riffers out here, yeah.
But the one thing, if my only fault of some of these Canadian comedians that I've actually pulled some aside and said, work on this because I feel like this is where I'm qualified in what I do, is when you have an opportunity to jump on a radio show or jump on a little quick interview somewhere, make sure you look the part and you sell it. I don't want to hear about your shit day or the traffic getting to my show. Come on and sell yourself, because anytime I talk to a Bobby Lee or a Brian Callen or a Krista Lee or these guys, they fucking bring it, man. And they might not have the audiences on this show that they would have, say, if they were ever to pop on Conan O'Brien, but they still treat it as the same way. And I think that's a great thing. Look it and sell it always.
Well, we lack a feeling of stardom. You
can't.
I mean, there are comics that have won all kinds of money and they're winning big prizes. I'm saying, look, man, you have big money. You're doing all these festivals. You are a fucking star. Act like a star. Think like a star. Walk, strut, dress like a star. But I mean, maybe that's old school. Maybe I'm gonna throw back to Minnesota Fats in the movie The Hustler, and they're saying, "Look at Fat Man. He ain't even sweating. He's drank as much as you have. Look at him, pretty as a baby." And there, Jackie Gleason was putting the powder on, is still dressed to the. So maybe I'm old school from that day. That could be a very good possibility.
Well, you wore a suit here, and I respect that. You're the only guy ever to do so. Okay.
Well, so there you go. And where am I going after this? Nowhere.
Well, I should say the only guy other than our sponsor who pops in, Brad Lamb, who will have
he's big money, real estate moving shaker tycoon type though.
Yeah, his suit's worth a little more than yours.
Yeah, so if we can catch him drink, I'm going to steal his shoes or something. Please take his shoes off at the door.
Kenny, you're a star in my mind, man. I'm so grateful that you're here. We still got another hour to do this with you.
Oh, excellent. I thought I was getting a bounce already.
No, not at all, man. As long as you don't want to go.
No.
Fuck,
that's
hang
like
out.
Like when you do some of these morning radio shows, you get up at 7 o'clock and, hey, we're the comedian that's going to be playing at Yuck Yucks all this weekend. And tell me, what is so funny about your comedy? Okay, well, thanks a lot. Well, thanks for popping in, Kenny. And now we're going to listen to the best of Ronnie Millsap for the next 35 seconds. So then you get one of those and you're going, why did I get out of bed?
Well, I love the old radio guys, too. Tell you about you first before they answer you give you an opportunity to answer it, and then your time is done. It's like,
absolutely.
Hello.
So is this your first time ever coming here? No, I scored crystal meth many times in this town. Okay, well, hey, he's going to be playing at the big comedy festival down at the Barnyard tonight, and tickets are still available. In fact, we're going to give 2 tickets away if anybody can come up here and give us their favorite knock-knock joke. Oh, yeah, some places just doesn't pay to get out of bed.
Well, I hope this one does.
There's
Kenny,
a ball.
Thanks,
You're going to have security have me leave.
Well, I will ask you back tomorrow.
Either that or Ben will just go, Ken, I want to show you something. I'll go, oh, what, Ben? And then I'll just follow him.
It's that easily. We're distracted. We all
Is this some Boston Bruins stuff you just scored?
Are you a Bruins fan?
No, but Ben is, so that's why.
I didn't know that. Ben Miner were talking about the boss here at the station. Yeah, okay.
Is he the boss here?
Well, like,
He's got clout.
Yeah, it's good for me to say he's the boss. No, I
Yeah.
think he's my boss. He tells me what to do from time to time. And
Okay.
and like your workshop, some of it I love and some of it I ignore.
Okay, I didn't know my boy's that much of a big shot.
Yeah, no, Ben, no,
Oh,
I
Oh, shit, then Ben got to throw some weight around here for me there.
well, I'll tell you one great thing about Ben, and then we'll bring in Brad Lamb, is that Ben pulled me aside in the summer, late summer. He said, really get involved in the Canadian comedy scene. I hadn't been doing that a lot. When I first did the show, and this is another story I've shared
How
before.
did you trip into this?
Well, I mean, I did 14 years on terrestrial radio.
Right.
And luckily I have a bit of a following.
Okay.
And they're like, well, let's see if it works. And, while I'm not a comedian, I've always worked in the comedy scene.
Did you get the bounce from FM?
It ended unexpectedly, is sort of what I say.
Okay, you don't want to go into that on air with me, huh?
It's not worth it.
Was it part of your settlement agreement that you're not mentioning it?
I just, there's not. It was just unexpected. It was fine, and you know what? It was the biggest blessing in disguise because I since
You got your
got
life
married,
back.
I had a kid.
You got your life back.
Quality life, and the show, and now with Ben's advice, I have a wonderful relationship with the scene, with this scene, and the show is a destination for the scene now, and that's fucking awesome for me because you guys bring the funny, we bring a bit of the promotion, and everyone wins, and the listeners get to hear what maybe they didn't even really know, and now we get to discover it together, and I'm discovering it together with you.
They'll get to hear shit they never wanted to know.
Well, that's the facts, right? Because we get down and dirty here on the program.
That's the thing though about radio. The thing I don't like about the radio game is it's kind of like you're in the mob, and then one day they say, "Hey, you guys want to go get something to eat?" And I go, "Yeah, let's go to Sal's." And then you're in the front seat. Next thing you know, poof, you ain't in radio no more.
I've never heard that analogy, and you nailed that analogy. That is the best, and this is why I discourage people from ever getting into
radio.
radio.
Can I say goodbye to my wife and kids? Nope.
No.
Hey.
The Todd Shapiro Show.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. You can subscribe over there, or you can watch another video over here. And I think this is the Daniel Bryan yes chant. So what the hell? Yes, Todd Shapiro Show. Daniel Bryan can't wrestle anymore. It's a very sad story.